Simcha, celebration, Simcha, Simcha, celebration of life.
Hello, welcome to Simcha, a celebration of life. I'm Nikki Wallman. Recently voted one of Israel's most influential women, Rabbanit Yemima Mizrachi speaks straight to the heart of women. As a speaker, she exudes a phenomenal energy, her words tumbling forth almost without pause for breath in a torrent of care and concern, warmth and humour. Simcha was privileged to attend one of her lectures at the recently held Sinai Indaba in Cape Town.
First of all, we think sometimes that in order to have happiness in our lives, in order to have love, in order to be loved, we have to make huge changes. And Judaism teaches us every centimeter is so important. Let's start from chesed. Chesed means charity, and chesed means not to measure what you've done. We all know the list we are doing. When we are very tired, you sit and you start saying, I went to work and I came back and I did this and I did that, all those lists. And what did you do? It says to us, Shlomo HaMelech, if you start measuring chesed, it will be horrible. Why? Because when you measure your koach, your power, and you say, I will do this and this and this, and that's it, when they will ask for more, you'll be exhausted. Don't measure. But I want reward for everything I've done. I want to see that someone gives me back. Woman, never expect to get back what you gave. You will get back, but it'll be something totally different. The Rebbetzin Kanievsky used to tell a story. There was a bird and she had small chicks and she took care of them. She gave them to eat. She protected them from heat and cold. And one day they had to go through a huge sea and she knew they cannot do it by themselves. She took every one of them on her wings. She put them on the other side. She went back and took another chick. Every chick she took on her wings, she asked, tell me, my little chick, would you do this to Ima when I'll be old? And he said to her, of course, Ima. And she said to him, you are a liar. And she threw him to the water. Then she took the other chick and said to him, would you do the same thing for Ima when she'll be old? And he said, Betach, Ima, of course. She said to him, Shakran, you are a liar. She threw him to the water until she took the smallest chick on her wings. And she said to him, tell me, my little chick, would you do the same for Ima when she'll be old? And he said, to tell you the truth, Ima, I don't really know. But one thing I do know, I'll do the same thing for my own cheeks. So she always taught us, Rebbetzin Kanievsky, that the real reward that you have for your deeds is really to see your children going in your way. And chesed means loving your child or your husband, even if you don't see any reward, even when it is so hard for you. When I learned that I am about to give birth to such a sick child, the first thing I thought when they told me that in the ultrasound he has only half a heart, I felt a failure. I know it's horrible to say it, but that's what I felt. And I said to myself, when he is born, I don't want to see him. I don't want to see that Yemima has done something imperfect. I was so relieved when I gave birth. They took him to the emergency room and they operated him. But then came this social worker. She told me, Gveret Mizrachi, we are going to see your little son. And I said, yofi. and I'm walking behind her. I remember this endless walk, something inside me yelling, "Lo rotza, lo rotza, lo rotza, I don't want to see it." And then she shows me my small baby, like Akedat Yitzchak, really all tied with tubes, and she said the words Eliyahu Hanavi will say when he'll come, "Yemima, זה הבן שלך, that's your son, ועכשיו תאהבי אותו, and now you will love him." So the first step is doing without measuring. You will have a reward. It takes time. You'll see it in the generations to come, and you'll be so happy to see your children and grandchildren doing the same efforts you've done for them.
As we continue our journey of discovery with Rabbi Pini Hecht, new depths of meaning are revealed that have an impact on all aspects of existence. Today, Rabbi Hecht explains how the alignment of body and soul brings joy, contentment, self-control, a more meaningful connection to God, and deeper relationships with others.
We live in a world of dichotomy, filled with personal dilemmas. On the one hand, we strive towards great ideals, lifting ourselves up. And on the other hand, we find ourselves being pulled just to take care of our mundane needs, and sometimes even pursuing selfish indulgences. What is the nature of that? Where does that come from? And perhaps if we can understand a little bit better where that comes from, we can then live life somewhat more effectively and more fully. Within the Jewish tradition, we have a body of wisdom, mystical teachings known as the Kabbalah. The Kabbalah provides insight into our holy Torah. It is an integral part of our religion and our Torah, and it provides insight into biblical verses, Jewish practice. But in addition to that, it also reveals some of the secrets of that which is hidden behind our reality. These teachings for many years were kept safe amongst the pious few, but it is widely accepted today that the illuminating ideas can provide us the spiritual tools and the light to make a better life in a spiritually dark world, and ultimately find a path to perfecting the world as we know it. One of the basic concepts that the Kabbalah speaks about is that every created entity has both a body and a soul. To use an analogy perhaps of a computer, it might not be absolutely accurate, but you've got the hardware, which is the presence of the computer, and then you have the software, which gives it its character, its ability. That would be the hardware, the body of the computer, and the software being the soul. In fact, if you were to describe what exactly Kabbalah is, so we find in some of the mystical texts that it's self-described as the soul of the Torah. Torah being the guidance and instruction for Jewish living, which has our ritual, customs, directions, how a person should live their life on a day-to-day basis. It gives the form and structure to the day, the week, a month, and a year, to our life cycle events. And then there's the meaning behind it, the energy, the significance. These are the teachings of the Kabbalah which give the Torah its soul. Similarly, on a cosmic level, we can look at the universe, of which our world is a part of, as the body, the form, and God Himself as the soul of the universe. And as human beings, we are both composite of body and soul. Now, the very nature of the body is that it conceals the soul within. So Kabbalah teaches that the world, the Hebrew word for world is olam, but it also has an alternate meaning. Olam also means to conceal. And this is not by chance. The Hebrew language is such that it reveals deeper meaning about things, being the language of the divine. So the world is called olam because indeed it conceals the inner godliness of existence. And so if we come back to our experience of body and soul, our bodies conceal, so to speak, the idealistic values and drives of the soul. And this is the source of our struggles. Ultimately, though, it's our purpose to align our body, our behavior, our practice with the inner ideals of the soul. And when we align it personally, we then bring alignment to the cosmic body and soul, bringing this world to a perfected state. By applying this concept, we hopefully can learn how to deal with many of life's challenges, how to deal with anxiety, how to find happiness, how to love more really, how to enhance our faith. And I hope that you'll join us on this journey as we go forward.
That's our program for this week. Thank you so much for joining us. And if you'd like to catch up on any previous episodes, you can find them on our website at www.spiritsister.co.za. And of course, we love hearing your comments and suggestions, so please post them on our Facebook page at Spirit Sister Productions. As always, from me, Nikki, and the team, shalom and have a safe and peaceful week.